Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Wild Hearts, and today I want to talk about Karakuri. Karakuri are of course the mechanical devices in the game, or the sort of wooden cogs, the wooden constructions you'll be building alongside combat. They are things you'll both be using in combat whilst fighting, as well as things you'll be using throughout the world to construct various different devices that will help you navigate the environment. They fall into different categories, and today there was a blog post which basically went through some of the ones we already know about, as well as some of the ones that were recently shown in the trailer. So today I want to recap all of the Karakuri we currently have details on. If you guys do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below if you have any questions, and also don't forget to keep it locked because we will have plenty more Wild Heart stuff coming your way. The HyperX Black Friday sale is live right now, which means it is the perfect opportunity to grab some incredible deals on some fantastic gear. If you guys want to use some of the stuff that we use to make videos, headsets, microphones, keyboards, mice, and so much more, then definitely don't miss this. The sale is live until November the 30th, so make sure you grab those deals before they sell out, and of course before these deals go away. Now, to begin with, as a quick summary, essentially Karakuri fall into three different categories. You have the basic Karakuri. These are simple, quickly constructed items, and they tend to be used well in combat. Think of things like the block, the spring, the fiery torch, that kind of stuff. They generally speaking don't require many resources and therefore can be used very quickly. You then have fusion Karakuri, which require hunters to build multiple basic Karakuri that will then fuse together, hence the fusion in the name, and these are intended for countering kemono attacks, and they can be used in a variety of situations. And in order to learn these, hunters typically need to seek new kemono, the monsters in battle, and then of course in doing so you will basically learn those devices. We spoke about this in the past when it came to constructing the bulwark that is used to battle King Tusk. You basically get a moment of inspiration during combat, and that kind of thing will also apply to other ones. The pounder, the star bomb, the repeater crossbow, they are a few other examples. And then finally you have the dragon Karakuri. These are the ones that will affect the hunting grounds and more broadly Azuma, the world. Dragon Karakuri will require a massive amount of energy, and that of course then means you need to go and find the dragon wells around the world in order to have the resources to construct them. But these things will draw from things called celestial thread, and this thread can grow as you discover and upgrade various different dragon pits. Things like the vine, the roller, the hunting towers, among others, are the dragon Karakuri. So let's go over what we have. The spring, of course, is one of the most basic ones. This will launch the hunter in the desired direction. It can be crafted very quickly and can be used both to dodge and perform enhanced jumping attacks, or even flank kemono faster than you could on foot. You then have the flying vine. This is a dragon Karakuri. This of course is the one you would have seen outside combat, where you can basically fire off a zip line, and you can use this to basically navigate to very hard to reach areas, and your whole hunting party can use it as well, so you can then basically navigate around very conveniently. The Celestial Shield is an example of a fusion Karakuri. This is a defensive one that can be used in many situations, but the primary purpose is to basically counter charge attacks from monsters, and it can simply be used as a wall to block some kemono attacks. We then have another example of a basic one being the crate. Really simple, literally the first thing you will ever learn to craft. This is the thing that allows you to jump up, gain higher ground, and of course also when positioned correctly can sometimes block certain smaller kemono attacks. But largely speaking, you'll be using this either as a base to craft other things, the fusions, or you'll be using this to stack up high to get to the aerial attacks, which are definitely more powerful. You then have another basic one, which is the torch. This is useful both in and out of combat. This can be used to light a dimly lit area, or to add fire to a hunter's weapon to deal additional damage. The pounder is one of the ones that I haven't had a chance to test out just yet, but is definitely incredibly cool. This is a fusion Karakuri, and while it packs a wallop, the pounder is a more complex one that basically has a slower attack, but inflicts a large amount of stun damage to its target. It's basically a giant hammer. An example of another dragon Karakuri is the wind vortex. This will generate a strong upwards wind that propels hunters into the air, and the wind vortexes are always on, and when used in conjunction with the glider, this will give the hunters added height and gliding speed. Speaking of which, you then have the glider, which is considered a basic Karakuri, so again can be used in conjunction with the wind vortex, or even just a few crate Karakuri, and the glider will allow hunters to stay in the air for longer, to traverse Azuma more easily, or of course position yourself directly over the top of a kimono in order to attack. We then have the Star Bomb, incredibly awesome. This is another fusion Karakuri. This boasts high attack power alongside a wide attack range, and although it takes some time to detonate on its own, it'll explode immediately when it's attacked. But you do need to be warned because the blast can also send your hunters flying if they are caught in the explosion. Another new one is the repeater crossbow. This is another fusion Karakuri. This is an offensive one that shoots at regular intervals to increase your damage output, and it will distract Kemono for a few precious seconds. It's a great choice when hunting flying Kemono. We then have the chain trap, which we saw in the new trailer. This is another fusion Karakuri, and this will basically make Kemono immobile for a short period of time. You need to use this wisely because once the Kemono learn how to escape the trap, they will be faster to do it the next time, so effectively diminishing returns on the traps. We have the roller, which is another dragon Karakuri. This is described as simultaneously ancient and futuristic. Hunters can traverse large distances quickly with this Karakuri, and after tracking down prey, hunters can even catapult a still moving roller into the Kemono. But they do say it's best to hop off that before doing it. So basically, it's your bike for getting around the world and also initiating some attacks. The paddle scoop is the really cool little sort of boat we saw. This is another dragon Karakuri. It's a self-propelled paddle scoop, and it's an efficient method of catching fish while you are on a hunt. It'll even store the fish if it catches them for later use. We have the training bear, which of course is your training dummy. Again, another dragon one, which you can construct. It gives you an opportunity to master your weapons. It will go through some basic moves and give you some of these sort of fundamentals if you are trying out a new weapon. You have the hunting tower, which again is used to basically detect large Kemono, but it's also said that as hunters learn to better construct this Karakuri, the hunting tower will also be able to locate additional artifacts and notable creatures. You then have the celestial anchor, where hunters can tether themselves to an anchor and swing around that to close the gap between you and the Kemono, and the anchors can also be used in some non-combat situations. And then finally, the last one shown off was the celestial cannon, one of the most complex Karakuri, another fusion one, and this celestial cannon collects surrounding celestial threads that it then hurls at the target, and while it's difficult to aim, the cannon has an intense impact that has a high chance to stagger a Kemono. So, as you can see, there's a fair amount of things to choose from, and no doubt more still yet to discover. But for the time being, that's a little rundown on some of the Karakuri they spoke about and showed in the most recent trailer. If you guys missed some of the recent videos, be sure to check out one of these ones, and otherwise keep it locked for plenty more Wild Hearts.